Sure.
Do it.
Okay.
You can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our final session of the day. We got two of my favorite people, and yes, I have a lot of favorite people I get to work with. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of Notes from the Dev, the senior email developer for Cinch on Email Acid, Megan Bushhausen. Megan, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Amazing. You look like you're about to get in the ring, and I look like I'm about to just just ref this session. So,
heck yeah.
All right.
How we do
Heck
it.
yeah. And back before she goes on vacation, ladies and gentlemen, Julia Ritter, Senior Email Marketing Manager of Cinch Mailjet. Julia, great to have you back again.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. I've been having Slim Shady's Guess Who's Back stuck in my head for the past 20 minutes.
Ever since someone dropped that GIF in the chat, yeah, that's been stuck in my head too.
So good.
So awesome. Crowd, let me get some love for our presenters one more time, please. There we go. Love it, love it. And one more time for the horn. My favorite people. They're going to go ahead and take a look at some emails here in just a moment. So they're doing the tag team takedown live email debrief with Megan and Julia. I'm going to go ahead and step out in the back, make sure everyone's settled and good to go, and make sure my connection's all right. But let me know if y'all need anything, okay?
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. Hope everybody's
all
ready
right.
to look at emails.
Are we ready? Okay, so we're gonna stop sharing the slides, and Megan and I, so you guys get the full view. We're gonna go off screen for a little bit. She's gonna share some emails that we're gonna go through, and yeah, let's have some fun. Megan, do you want to explain the rules of everything?
What we're doing today? Yeah, so we're gonna be looking at 2 or 3 different emails, depends how much me and Julia talk. And we are just going to talk through these emails, design changes we would make, accessibility changes, copy changes. We're just going to give you the whole lowdown about how we think about emails and what we would do to make the emails that we look at even better. We got a lot of amazing emails sent to us. And we obviously only have about 30 minutes, so we can't get through all of them. But we hope that maybe later on, if everybody here makes enough noise about it, we can maybe make some and do some other sessions outside of email camp. So think about it.
Let me know what in the chat. And also just
blow up chat.
Just a reminder that this is a constructive and safe space for feedback. We're not here to destroy anyone's email, and we shouldn't be doing that in the chat either when we show them. So just be nice, y'all. Be kind. So
be nice.
Because the people that submitted these are in the audience. So that's what makes it fun. Okay, Megan, go on with it. And then I think
do it. Yep. All right.
Once you present, I think I can hide us.
Hide us. Okay. I'm going to present my entire screen. I'm going to have to move us out of the way first.
And don't forget, if we do have time for a Q&A, put your Q&A in the chat. Yes, this will be recorded, and you can watch it later if you have to drop off.
All right. All right, I am working with 2 monitors here. So, all right, we hide ourselves, so you're not going to see me looking back and forth. All right, perfect. We are going to be looking at these emails in Email on Acid. So if you're not familiar with this platform, it is Email QA. It is one of the Cinch brands, one of the primary brands that I work on, and it's great for checking your emails for accessibility, analytics, how it looks, how screenshots, how it looks in your different clients, whatever. Okay. So I'm gesticulating over here and you guys can't see me. It's fine.
I know. I'm nodding, so.
It's fine. Totally fine. All right. So let's start with this first email. Julia, do you want to start with copy stuff or do you want me to start with design?
Sure. You start with design. Go ahead, because you have an email.
Cool. Yeah. So with this email, my first impression was that there is a lot of text here. So I would think about, for this email, what the main goal is and how we can simplify it. In sessions even earlier today, we were hearing our speakers talk about how people read or don't read and how we need to make it easier for people to take action. So definitely I would think hard about what we're trying to accomplish here and make changes based on those goals. As of right now, a lot of text is bolded. A lot of it is underlined. And I'm not quite sure where I am supposed to click and what I am supposed to do. I'm just a little bit overwhelmed by a lot of this text here. So what I would do, I'm not even done scrolling through all this yet. See, very long, lots of text. What I would do is add a lot of white space here, a lot of white space. You can take some of these images and they are clearly cropped. So you can take them, make them more of a hero image, so horizontal, and just do your image, some text in a button CTA. And this looks like it should be more like a newsletter. You can very easily break it up into different sections. The other thing I would start thinking about when redoing this email is your accessibility. So look how small this text is. We need that text to be at least 16 pixels to be accessible. If you have the ability, if you're coding, you'll have this ability. If you're using a drag and drop editor, you may not have this ability, but set this language. So we can see you can set a language code. So this is in English, so I can set it to English. And if somebody's using a screen reader, then this email will be read for this type of English, in American accent. If this email was, say, written in French, you'd want this language to be set in French so that the language in the text is pronounced properly and read properly, because you don't want, say, an email read in French or Spanish and have it being read with an American accent. Then you probably can't understand it if you're a native speaker in those languages. So that's one of the reasons why setting this language attribute is really important.
That's a really cool feature, especially because I did not know how to pronounce this first word of the brand because I don't speak French. And I had to Google how to say that. But you know what I mean? Like, that's a good example of the use for the screen reader in this case.
Yes, for sure. I'm going to run us through, the checks here pretty quickly. I'm not going to go through everything, obviously. Presentation is set on the tables, which is amazing. That's something people will miss sometimes while coding. So it's great that you have that. You don't want any title attributes. Want to make sure we have our alt text written, which we have it on some, but not others. So make sure you are hitting up that alt text everywhere. If you have an image that's more just decorative, you can leave it blank. You can see how this is blank, but checked off. That's just because the alt attribute exists. So that's pretty good to have. And you can see how it's missing here. So it looks like these may just be spacer images. Just add an alt attribute, make it blank, and you're good to go there. And then the screen reader skips over it. And we're going to skip over a lot of this. Link stuff, make sure your links are underlined and bolded. That's why looking here, it's so important. Like, this is not a link, but I would think it's a link because it's underlined. So those are just accessibility and readability things you want to think about. And you can check. Yeah. And see how that looks in zoomed. We're going to skip through all of this stuff. And here you can also check your widths and whatnot. That's not really an accessibility thing. I'm not meaning for this to be an actual email and asset demo. I'm just kind of going through this quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're going to skip all this other stuff and head over to our previews because I want to look at this email really quickly in a couple of different clients. So running the email previews, I just ran it under just what's the most popular. I didn't choose anything in particular. I just did like the stock most popular client preset. So I'm actually going to jump right over to Outlook 2019 because we know those can be problematic. So here, I believe when we looked at this code, we established that it was done via a drag and drop editor. So you actually are going to probably be okay with the drag and drop editor. You can see how a lot of these links have turned blue. Or I think when I was looking at before, they weren't even links. Some of them were, some of them weren't. So those are blue links is something that you definitely want to look out for in emails, or losing some padding also. These are all things that you can work on in your drag and drop editor. It's usually just a settings thing that you can change. So those are kind of a couple of things to watch out for in Outlook. I'm also going to look really quickly in dark mode to see what this looks like. So with the drag and drop editor, you're not going to have as much control, if any control, in dark mode. If you are coding your emails, you definitely want to utilize the media queries and take control of this of where you can. This email also starts getting hard to read on mobile because you're on a smaller screen. So look how small this text is. If we change any one thing about this email, I would say make that text bigger, and it's going to make your emails way more readable. So I think I kind of just went on long enough about the various quick hit design things. Julia, what do you have to say about, some copy notes?
Yeah, I think the main thing for me here was that there's too many goals. Would you mind going back to the bigger screen for this, just so we can see it all? Okay, so there was a couple different, yeah, that's perfect. There was a lot of different things communicated in here. So the first, and the goal that was submitted as part of this submission was that they wanted to get recipients to visit the website to purchase wine. But there's also a lot of copy in here as in relation to that the 2022 Mount St. Helena Cabernet received 94-point rating. First of all, congrats on that. But also, leading off with that could be a good tie-in for people to go and buy the wine on your website. But I think it was just a little bit buried. So just keep that in mind. I think you should go with one goal and stick to it. If that's your choice, if your goal is to get people to the website, then I think we're missing the mark here just a little bit. There's also mentions of a Labor Day sale which is extended with multiple special offers. That's the first section of bullets here. So with that, I think maybe just focus on one or use segmentation depending on what they've bought before. I think segmentation would be a big help here. There's a lot of content for one email, perhaps break it up into multiple. Another goal in here was more about the company, how to stay in touch, opportunities for winery, an invitation to check out the vineyard, buy bottles. There's a lot of great content. And I think based on that, you can kind of identify your different audiences and what they'd want and break it out that way. So for example, people who have previously purchased versus who have not purchased. Maybe you catered your messaging towards those two different groups and then include the sale for the people who haven't purchased. And then for the people who have purchased, you still give them the sale, but a different way to say it would be, we know you're a great, very valued customer. Here's our sale for you. No one's going to know. Who's going to know? How will they know? New subscribers could get the email that's about your company. The section. I think if you scroll down, Megan, that's where it's at the bottom. It's more about the company, more about the vineyard. Send them an invitation to visit the vineyard. I think that sounds like a great welcome series and a great nurture sequence. More about you and more about the wine, how many awards you have, how your grapes are organic. I think it's less is more in an email. And, like I said, just go after one goal, stick with it. And I think the links, there's a lot of text, a lot of links, I think, but it's hard to tell. I think a button is your friend here. So if we're just going after, let's say the Labor Day sales extended. Of course, this is an older email, right? Labor Day sales extended, and just in time, we just received this award. Oh my gosh, celebrate with us with this sale. Go to this website, go here. Here's how you can buy our grapes or buy our wine. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think let's move on to the next.
To the next one. All right. So the next one, we have Kiva Sales and Service, which is a cannabis company. So a lot of the same things we're seeing here. It's lots of white space in this design. We are missing our language attribute. I believe this one was coded. Julia, was this the one we saw that was coded that was using Lee's template? I think.
Yes. Yes,
Lee
you're
Monroe,
right.
this uses your template. Congratulations. That was the base of it, which obviously I know Lee, it's a great template. So we need to make sure we set our language. And again, text. This text is so small that it needs to be bumped up to 16 pixels. You need to bump up that line height to make it even more readable. Julia will get into the copy. I do wonder if there's ways to make this copy a little bit shorter so it's not so dense. I'd also think about the design a little bit more and how you're going to use a logo for a new brand that you're onboarding, because this logo is huge here. And I feel like it kind of is too much of a break between this information and the information down here. This is a button, but it doesn't really stand out. Now, I did go look at the website for this, and the primary colors are black and white, but there is a lovely green, a little bit on the nose there, but a lovely green there that you could bring into the emails to make sure that the website and the email connect a little bit more. I'm wondering if the main goal
and brand cohesiveness, Megan, is that what you mean?
It's like we talked about that today. One thing I was thinking about with this email is this bottom section. And if your sole goal of this email is to talk about a new brand that's coming on board, which I think is the goal of this email, but you're also talking about a custom menu and a scheduled delivery date, I'm wondering if this could be part of some sort of I don't want to say footer, but kind of footer that is just consistent in your emails to your list. Because if they're all getting this delivery date and they're all getting this custom menu, that means you have that information. And it could be something that is just consistently in your emails, maybe as part of the footer, that people can access at any time from any of your emails. And you can design it a little bit more and call it out a little bit more as an aside from the rest of the email.
I agree. I think that's a good point, because is the goal to introduce the new product, or is the goal for this custom menu based on this new product? But if the custom menu is in there all the time, that's a good point to put it in something that is station or not static, but you know what I mean, consistent in every email you send.
Yeah, makes it a little bit more actionable too. From the code side, you want to make sure you get that presentation on the screen readers so that screen readers know that the tables are being used for markup purposes and not for data purposes. Otherwise, the screen readers may not read the information out correctly.
Yep.
I'm going to pop to the previews. Let's look. You could also use putting in some dark mode stuff. You can control that on the Apple devices at least. And we're looking at, how this scales down. This is not very readable on mobile. So that is something you will want to look at and adjust accordingly. Let's see how it looks on Outlook real quick. Oh, all right. So on Outlook, let me tell you how to fix this. You didn't set your width attribute for Outlook. So make sure you go in there and set that width attribute, and that'll fix this issue. You might benefit from having a service like Email and Acid to check screenshots. And then you would catch these before them being sent, but definitely go in, add the width attributes, and that'll fix that issue right up, and nothing will be, busting out of the container anymore. All right, Julia, we have about 10 more minutes. Do we want to try to knock out this third one, or do you want to Q&A? Or did you talk about copy?
No, not yet. Not on the copy, not on this one yet.
I am blanking out here.
And right now we don't have any. Oh, wait, we do. Oh, we do have Q&A. Sorry, I didn't see them. Okay, so yeah, maybe we do. Let me get through the copy on this so we can make a decision. Okay, so just a couple things. The pre-header in this is Kiva Sales and Service Campaign Manager, which reminded me of a job title. You remember that your pre-header is an extension of your subject line. It should complement your subject line. So maybe instead of, and the subject line was introducing Sol's brand Sun-Grown Flour. As a pre-header, you could do like available starting X date, whenever it is, 7/15/2024. So that way people see it in their inbox, and they're like, ooh, coming up quick. You know, it kind of puts that there. Oh, Casey wants us to keep the party going. There's no one after us.
I can't see the chat, so you know.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think the pre-header maybe just do something a little bit, or that could be tweaked to give it a little bit more urgency, a little bit more explanation about what they're going to find in the email. I know Megan talked about this. I'd love to see some breaks in the paragraph. It is kind of hard for me to read a big block of text like this. Maybe some bolding to hide the important parts, bullets could help. And I think the date gets lost at the end. If you're really interested in the brand, I want to know when I can get my hands on this. So, I mean, you could even, Megan suggested a headline. You can put it in the headline so it's not missed. Like I said, the CTA gets lost below the Solus logo. But if this, I do really like Megan's idea of putting that custom menu in the footer, but I would make a bigger deal about it. Like if someone was creating a custom menu for me based on like my preferences and past purchases, I think that's like a really great use of personalization. And you know, you're taking the time to do that for me. I kind of want to really look at it and probably make a purchase. So yeah, just a thought. Let me see. Oh, I did have something. I did want to say something else, but okay, never mind. I think we're good.
All right. Do we want to try out to knock out one more email, or are there questions we should Q&A on?
Let's try to do a little bit, like just the next email really quickly, okay. So that because we have it.
Okay, let's do it. All right. So on this one, there are a couple of things I would change. When I was looking at the code, it seemed very bloated. I would definitely look at optimizing the code a little bit more. When we start from the beginning here, the logo is on the left-hand side here with the thanks for subscribing here. I would make sure that logo is at the top with thanks for subscribing underneath. And I'm not quite sure this image is actually needed, or use a different image. And as we go through it, the thanks for being part of our vision looks like a traditional call to action for me. So I tried to click it when I first saw this email to see where it would go. And then I realized it was not clickable. So I would style this differently if we were to keep all this copy. And Julia will go into some of the copy stuff, but I wonder if you could even get rid of this thanks for subscribing and just dive right in for the thanks for being part of our vision, because you kind of have multiple messages going on there. The other thing I would do is take this 3-column layout, which I love the concept of, but I would actually bump each column into its own row and then break each column out into like that 2-column almost the Z layout. So like you put your image on one side and the text on the other, and then it'll just make it lay out a little bit better. And you can still code it up in a way so that it stacks properly on mobile and all that jazz. And I think it'll make this part just a little bit easier to read. And down here, I would actually do the same concept, is take these 2 columns, make them each column into their own row, and then use that Z pattern to, you know, lay out the information a little bit more easily so people can read it really well and take action. And I love that you have all these links in the footer. Makes it easy for people to get to the different parts of your website. So I think this
how would that be like, how would that look on mobile and things like that? Oh, wait, you can show us.
Question. We can look.
That wasn't like a play, like play up on the email previously.
So this is what the email looks like on mobile. So you can see how those like 3 columns stack, which I love. You can still accomplish this even if you change the layout a little bit on desktop. You can accomplish it really easily. Yeah, and just looking at this, I think it's perfect, that footer. What's that?
Do you think looking at this, it looks like it was designed for mobile first?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, good. Yeah, just wondering.
Could have been.
for your perspective.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this was done. I didn't look close enough at this code to try to figure out whether I thought it was done in a drag and drop editor or custom coded. But yeah, like those changes, all easy to do, even with a drag and drop editor. You just have to switch your columns up a bit.
Show us Outlook.
Yeah, we're doing good on Outlook.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Nice. Oh, we got some line stuff going. Happens. There are fixes for these lines. The white line bug in Outlook's a pain. I still battle them a lot. They will never go away, probably. So if this is a coded email, there are things you can do to fix this. If you're in a drag and drop editor, you're a little bit more out of luck there. All right, Julia, you want to talk about copy real quick? I will go back to ability to look at it.
So as Megan mentioned, the thanks for subscribing, thanks for being a part of our vision. In the subject line and pre-header, there was also a thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Here are some helpful resources. Thanks for subscribing was the pre-header. So that's done 4 times. I think 1 time is enough. I think, and then like you can really just get to the crux of your email, the basis of what you want to discuss with them or like get in front of them at this point. So, oh, and I'm sorry. And they did add personalization in their subject line. It was, Julia, thank you for subscribing. I think personalization is great. So keep on going, but the pre-header could be switched up. Yeah, you don't need to thank them so much. As far as, I think the image here, personally, I think it's unnecessary, or it just needs to be a different sort of form, like layout. I think a headline would really help in here. I know you have thanks for subscribing at the top, but like we said, we're going to get rid of that. Your content is great. You have great content, but it's getting a little lost. So I agree with Megan about the columns. Really great looking here. I think it really establishes how many you can, or I'm sorry, like I was reading the chat, there are so many roles. It really establishes what they can get from your app, and really like goes after what their goals here, like improve your mobility, stop worrying, stay motivated, everything they can accomplish with your app. And it like, even on mobile, it's establishing that like line, leading lines, all that thing. Your content and your copy is short and sweet. It's easy to skim. I'm getting the point of it pretty quickly. And then you also, like your goal was to thank them as you submitted. And I think you're achieving everything you want here. I think it's just like the fine tuning to really like get them to focus. This bottom part, amazing. I think this is a great offer, but I don't know if this is the right place to put it. So this is just your welcome email. You're explaining how to work everything. Maybe you want to segment the second part of this email is like a follow-up to people who are most likely to upgrade, who is most likely or who's using your app the most. And then you can send them this. Do you need one-on-one physical therapy support? Maybe you try this video. You can upgrade and get that. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog in the background. I'm so distracted by it. You can upgrade to get more access. Is this the right place? Maybe just consider segmenting to your more active audience. Also, I do like explaining with directions, but I think if you could click out to it, I tried on your website. I'm not sure if that's possible at this point. So I get the need to explain it. I do that too. But I think maybe if there's an option there to click out to your app, or to if they're on the desktop and they can go to their code of your app, I think that's a good point to do that, because then you're like just taking them straight to the upgrade page. People are only going to do what you hand feed them, what you spoon feed them. As long as you put it right in front of their face, they're more likely to do it. You know what I'm saying? People also, Megan and I talked about this, but people need reassurance and the message multiple times. So maybe before they make the change. So you could put this as a soft ask in multiple emails that they get. Don't forget, we offer customized one-on-one physical therapy support. You just have to upgrade to an annual subscription. If they're already paying for the app and you can get more by upgrading to an annual subscription, I think that's it's a great way to get them to do that. Just keep reiterating, keep showing them what you offer and how much they can get. I think, my last bullet point in my notes here is that the people are not going to take action unless you spoon feed it to them. So just
Cool.
some thoughts.
Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing this.
I know we sped through that, and we are at time, but Thomas.
It's all good. It's all good. You're on the last presentation of the day. We can take like a question or two here. My favorite time of the day. Question time. All right, let's see here real quick. All right, and y'all, if y'all see one before me, call it out. Let me see. I'm looking at most upvoted. Let me see. Okay, I like this one from Gabriella. How many images, including logos, are okay to add in an email?
I wouldn't really put a number on it personally. You just want to mind the file sizes of the emails so that they don't take too long to load and that you're sending content that your audience is engaging with. I would just do not an all image email because then you start running into accessibility issues. So it's kind of like your discretion. A lot of people like to cite, I think, the 80-20 rule. I don't think that's really a thing anymore. It's just a guideline I think people still hang on to. But yeah, just be mindful of how many you're putting in there.
What about logos at the top of the email? Like, is there too many? Is there too many? Someone said they don't like more than one logo in an email. I agree.
Yeah,
I don't like
it depends, right? So a lot of times when you see more than one logo at the top of an email, it's because there's usually a partnership going on. So it's usually a requirement. I probably wouldn't go more than 3 or 4. If you're going with a ton of logos, I wouldn't put them in the email separately at that point. I would lay it out as one graphic and pop it in there. So you're not trying to finagle it on different sizes.
Okay.
All right, and the last question. This one's the top voted, so let's go and throw it up here. Barbara wanted to know why do you need descriptive alt tags on photos instead of just alt equals in quotation marks? Since aren't the photos just extra design and not pertinent to the content?
Well, they're not always just extra design. Because all image emails exist where people are putting all their important information in the images, which you shouldn't do, but a lot of agencies and retail brands are still doing that. But with alt text, the screen readers read those out. So when you don't put alt text in, you're leaving out a portion of your audience who may have no vision or be low vision and are depending on those screen readers. Plus, screen readers may become more of a thing, and emails being read out are probably going to become more of a thing because of our smart devices. So as people start checking their emails more on watches and the Echoes and Google Home and all those various devices, it's better to be prepared for those situations. Alt text, it can be time consuming, but if you write it like you're just trying to describe the image, the description kind of just flows out a little bit more easily. And it's just an extra little touch to show that you care about your subscribers. If somebody doesn't have images being loaded in their in their email client, you don't want them to be greeted with just a blank screen, because then they don't know what's going on at all. So you definitely also want to be prepared for that situation. I did that for a while in Gmail. I used Gmail on my phone in dark mode no images on, which is one of like the worst combos, and it was leaving a lot to be desired with emails out there. A lot of emails, I did not know like what was going on with them, what they were about, because brands were putting so much into images and then not writing good alt text. So it's definitely something you want to think about and keep on top of mind.
Got it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for Q&A, and most importantly, all Julia and Megan have time for today. Thank y'all so much. Y'all know I'm going to ask this. Where can everyone follow along with everything that you got going on in the email world?
Find me mostly on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram a little bit at meg_codes_email. So you can talk to me there, talk to me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Notes from the Dev. Give that show a watch. Let us know if there's anything you'd like to see on Notes from the Dev as we develop new ideas and seasons and whatnot. And that's it for me. What about you, Julia?
Yeah, you can have me on LinkedIn. I hardly run it. I'm terrible at it. Terrible at social in general. You can email me at julia.ritter@cinch.com. I do answer that instead. And I'm putting in here the sign up for Email Academy. So if you want to keep seeing, stuff like this, we do that. And Megan was just on one of our episodes a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, sign up for that list.
Yeah, check out Email Academy, y'all. Awesome. Well, y'all, let's go and bid them adieu. Julia's going on vacation literally as soon as she signs off on here. So let's go ahead and let her have a good time. And Megan, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, y'all, hope we'll see y'all again for next year.
Thank you.
For sure.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Good seeing y'all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on and wrap up today. I'm going to go ahead and start that break session, that wrap-up session. So I'll see you in just a second.